Welcome back to my channel, to Only Movies, and today we are going to be talking about Stranger Things, because everyone's been talking about the show that is finished, that it ended, and especially for this final season. So I'm going to rank you of all 5 seasons, and then I'm going to talk about it, especially I'm going to spoil it. So if you have not seen Stranger Things, especially season 5, I recommend you not to watch this. So you better wait until later on to after you watch this. But let's get started. So as everyone knows, that Stranger Things has finally come to an end after for so long. It's been almost 10 years that this show has been aired on Netflix, which for me, in my opinion, I think it's a really amazing show. The first time I saw it, I loved it, especially for the intro. Who hasn't loved the intro and stuff? The way it did it is something different. You can feel that sci-fi horror bit of vibe and stuff, which I loved it. So long, and it's like, yeah, each season I felt like they were coming out in a year or two, but the last two, they really took a while. Especially you could notice how the kids grew up, because they were like just 11 or 12, and then now they're in their mid-20s and stuff. Especially you could tell from the final season. So I'm gonna do a review of season 5, and then I'm gonna rank the other seasons from worst to best. So for the ranking of the season, I'm gonna keep it short, but season 5, it's gonna be a long talk about it, because there's a lot to talk about this for season 5 of what they did, what was the plot holes and all this other stuff, what they did with the characters and all that stuff that, in my opinion, I think they didn't do so well and stuff, and how the acting did and all that stuff, and the jokes and stuff. But this is my opinion, so if you have a different opinion on which one's from your worst to best seasons, just let me know down in the comments. The final season is a bit of lacking a lot of stuff that I was hoping to expect a lot more on this final season. Especially it was like, it took a while for them, because the last season for season 4, it was like what, 4 or 5 years ago. Compared to this one, it took them really long time, which I don't like. I tell everyone, and for even in movies, not just shows, that if you take more than the 5 years, then yeah, your show or movie might not be as good like it used to be, because like you took too long, or who knows what happened. I understand Hollywood takes time and stuff, but I felt like back in the days, they took their movies like or shows like a year or two, not longer than that. Because if it took longer than that, then yeah, there's always issue or problems, or let's say, not to jinx it and stuff, but sadly some actors will pass away. So for this one, I felt like it took too long. And what they did, which I thought was really stupid, that they took each, they did volumes. So each one was like, okay, you get first 3 episodes in Thanksgiving, then the next on Christmas, and then the last one you get on New Year's Eve, which I thought was really stupid, because like, okay, we've been waiting for a long time after season 4. Like, why can't you just give this to us already? It's like, why make us wait even longer? So it's like, that for me was like really bad idea, bad choice to do, in my opinion. It wasn't not just that, especially like, okay, the show, like, yeah, there's some positive stuff, but then there's also mainly negative. More, I feel like more negative on this. The reason that season 5 was like the least favorite is because, like, okay, they did so many corny jokes that weren't really hitting off like in the other seasons. For this, like, their fight scenes and stuff were kind of weak, and especially, I know everyone's saying that Millie Bobby Brown's acting was really weak. Few other actors their acting was really weak. The younger kids, their acting was pretty good, compared to the older generations of actors who've been doing this for a long time. But yeah, so that was one of the weak ones. And of course, everyone's least favorite part was when Will coming out as being gay.
That's right, Cindy. I'm gay.
Because everyone knows that if you mention it, not saying like it's a bad thing, but it depends how you do it. They felt like this was really rushed into, because everyone knew Will was gay since the beginning of the season, because it just mentioned about it and how the kids were bullying him. And then each season you could notice that he was really far away from not being close with any girl he likes. Everyone else was in a relationship, and except for Will. And of course, like, the world was ending, and they had to come up with this. Like, you really, you couldn't just wait at this after, at like the end of the battle with Vecna. but no, they really like pushed it in, and it was like really like this is the best you could come up with. Like no one really cares about that, and like I said, everyone knew already, so it was no surprise. But just for him just to bring it up because Vecna knew his secret and all wasn't really all that great. So I see no point in that's doing like it. Mostly like I know there's so many plot holes as well from this show that there's unanswered questions and stuff. But for me, there's like I want to say 2 or 3 things that bother me. One was okay, we all seem like we completely forgot about Mike's dad. He also tried to protect the family. He got hurt, and we heard nothing from him. Just from the first beginning of the 3 episodes. I want to say the 1 or 2. I forgot. But yeah, we just completely forgot about him, and he got hurt as well. And then you don't see him until the end of the episode, and he's fine and everything. So it's like, wait, really? We're not gonna say anything about that. And then the other thing, you really don't hear anything about Dustin's girlfriend. Like, are they still together? Are they not together? What happens? Like, she couldn't help or something. And then for the third one, I know everyone's been doing a lot of memes about this. It's like, how is Max graduating with everyone if she was in a coma for 2 years? So how is that possible and stuff? So it's like there's just a lot of stuff that they think that we're gonna miss out on, that we're not gonna be like answering or asking questions. It's like, hey, what happened to this and that, and they thought we were gonna forget, but a lot of people probably watched all the other 4 seasons before they watched this one. So, like I said, it's just a lot of unanswered questions, plot holes, and stuff that they're missing and stuff, and a lot of stuff they're trying to do. And well, I'm wrong. There's more than just 3. There's also I gotta talk about Linda Hamilton, who played for the military. I felt like her character was useless. I see no point, even though I know they're trying to do like another villain and stuff, like a side villain and stuff. But I felt like there was no point of her because then after the military was gone, and then the other one, it just bothered me so much is when they try to do Henry Vecna is like a little origin story and how he got his power, and I felt like that was really weak. I felt like we really didn't need all that for him to know his origins and stuff, like how he got the power and stuff. I just felt like it is better that we kept a mystery and stuff, like because season 4 did the best way for introducing Vecna and stuff. So I felt like this was no point because so many stuff. And then of course everyone's I know like I could go on for this forever, and especially I know when Max and Holly were in the upside down, like ready to escape, they were just talking so long, and then they were just walking. They took forever just to run, just to escape, just so they could go home and stuff. That was like one of the other stuff. But I know like there's so much more of, like I said, there's plot holes and stuff. So that was like mainly like the negative. The positive part is like, okay, the final episode, I'm not gonna lie, I did like it, but except for the fighting part. I know that I already said for the negative, but this is my other part of the negative is the fight scene finally with the final battle of Vecna and the Mind Flare. I feel like it didn't last so long. It just ended it real quick, like real fast. Like, okay, like, do they not have any money, no budget and stuff to continue this fight? It's like, really? So you made us wait this long. You made the show for 2 hours and the fight was only 5 minutes or maybe less. It's like, really? That's was the really weak part of it. But like I said, the positive part of the ending, I did enjoy it. Was like, okay, they had their final ending. Everyone was playing the game D&D, which was really great. I thought it was like really amazing stuff. I know some people are saying it's like, okay, so, but they're seems there's like it's not really the end for this, because they're thinking they're probably pulling off like it chapter 2 is like saying like, okay, you're gonna see them in 10 years when they're all grown up and stuff, because 11 supposedly like she survived and stuff, and they think that they're gonna bring her back, because the other reason they're thinking that is because especially after Linda Hamilton's character for the military, they just disappear, like nothing happened, like they're not being punished or anything. They just left out of the town 18 months after everything happened, and they're not being punished. So they think they're still gonna try to search in for 11. They probably don't think she's dead and stuff, but I know a lot of people are posting it on social media. They're thinking, okay, they're probably gonna think of bringing a more new season for Stranger Things in 10 years, which I hope they do not, because I see no point in doing another season, new season for Stranger Things. I do understand at the end, like Mike was looking at the kids, so like, okay, these are the new generation. These are the new kids who are gonna be playing D&D and stuff and all. But I feel like they're trying to kind of force it and say that, okay, they're the new generation. Like, okay, they're gonna have their own adventures. Something bad's gonna happen. Which I feel like, no, just leave it alone. Let it end at season 5, because like I said, like it was okay. Season 5 was okay, but there, I'll explain more of the my best one later on, and more into this later on as well, because I feel like I don't want to give it too much right now. But like I said, I recommend them not to do it, because then if they're pulling like It Chapter 1 and 2 with like 20 years later or so, and they bring all of them back, let's say, like I said earlier, let's hope that none of the actors, anything happens to them, or one of them don't want to act or something. Who knows? Because then they're gonna have to recast a new actor and stuff. So no one's gonna want that. They want a reunion and stuff. But like I said, I'd rather not have them do that. I just say leave this alone. Season 5 was the end, and this is the finale of Stranger Things. Just come up with something new and different. I just hope they do not do spin-offs for like, okay, for this character or this and that, or movies and stuff like that, because you already know Hollywood's all about that cash money, cash grab. But yeah, so season 5 was my least favorite. To me, it was the worst one. So yeah.
What? I ain't gay.
So like I said, so I'm gonna rank them from the worst to best and all. So like I said, season 5 wasn't the best one. It was like the worst one for my opinion. But yeah, it's because there was so much about it, like I mentioned in the videos that they have. But that's number 5. Season 5 is gonna be the worst one. That's number 5.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
For me, number 4 is like the next worst one. I say it's number 3, because it starts off slow, and then it takes them halfway to the show to start to being really good. So that's why it kind of like was a bit okay and stuff. But I did enjoy it, but it was just a bit confusing with the stuff of what's the Russian have to do with this and that and all. But you know, but it was really enjoyable. But I'm not saying it's like it's one of the okay ones.
I mean, it's all right. Like,
And then for my number 3, I'm gonna have to go with number 2. Number 2 was really good after the first season. They still had the dark elements, the sci-fi horror elements and stuff. That was really good, and especially how Will was still being traumatized after everything and stuff. He's still going all that science stuff, medical stuff to go through and see how he's doing stuff. So it just sucks that he was being forcible with all that and being traumatized. So I say season 2 was really good, really enjoyable. And of course, for my number 4, I say it's gonna have to be number 1. I know people are gonna say number 1's the best because it started off and stuff, because I say that too with movies. But sometimes some movies or shows, there's next season or sequel, prequel, whatever, it does really good, better than the original. But I'm not saying that this was the worst. I did really enjoy it. Like I said, I love the sci-fi horror element, especially with the intro. When we first saw it, I loved it. I was like playing that music. I could hear it all day, anytime and stuff. And you get that chill vibe and that excitement as well. So it was really good. I really love season 1. That was one of my favorites one, because like I said, they had horror elements and stuff, and 80 vibes with the kids riding bikes and stuff. Like you get from so much nostalgia that I could mention from movies, shows, video games, and all this stuff they do and stuff was really enjoyable. It was
Perfect. Perfect.
Of course, for my number 1, I know that everyone's gonna know. Of course, it's the best one. I think, in my opinion, is season 4. Season 4. For me, I believe that should have been the ending for Stranger Things instead of season 5. What they did with the final episode of season 5, I felt like they should add it on season 4. Like add like 2 or 3 more episodes to make it everything work out correctly. Because season 4, I felt like they did it a perfect job with it. They had horror elements, really horror elements, that you get chills and scares and stuff, especially when they introduced Vecna. Like, that was so amazing. I love that part. And especially, like I said, they have Robert Englund, and they have so many reference of A Nightmare on Elm Street, so that was pretty amazing. So like that, they had, I felt like season 4 was more horror than sci-fi. It's like, yeah, they still had the little sci-fi element and stuff, because they were showing back of how Els got become number 11 and got, I want to say, strong and all, but we also got introduced with Henry, number 1, and Vecna, and how he becomes Vecna. So I felt like that was a perfect way to tell the story of Henry, instead of like from season 5 they gave us the origin story, how he got his power, because I felt like that was just rushed and stuff, and they were like, they didn't know what to do. But yeah, season 4 they had great music and stuff. I know everyone was playing Kate Bush all the time with the memes and stuff, and the memes of the clocks and stuff. But I say season 4 they shouldn't just end it with that, because like I said, with season 5 we waited for so long, like 4 or 5 years for it, and I felt like season 4 was the way to end it, because yeah, they still shouldn't have continued, like I said, with more episodes on season 4, and then just end it off like that, because they took forever, and supposedly there was drama from the final season, so who knows about that. But like I said, season 4 was my favorite.
He's the GOAT! The GOAT!
That was my opinion, so this is my opinion. So if you don't like it, like I said, write down in the comments down below which ones you think from worst to best of the seasons of Stranger Things. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I just hope they don't do spin-offs. I know there's a lot of rumors to talk about it, and people posting videos of Wolfman talking about he talked with Jimmy Fallon like 3 years ago or 4, that he thinks there's going to be a spin-off, kind of like everyone's doing reference as comparison, I meant, as It Chapter 2. Like, they're 20 years later, they're all grown up, they have their family and stuff, and they're reunite, and they're trying to look for 11. And I feel like I really don't want that. I don't want any spin-offs, anything, nothing more of Stranger Things. I feel like that's a great way just to end it. Just leave it alone. Like I said, that's it. But other than that, hopefully you guys like this video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the final season of Stranger Things and the other seasons. If you loved Stranger Things, or if you did not like it. But other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.